picture, cut the lights. This is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing a part. We know every card by heart. Overture, curtain lights. This is it, we'll hit the heights. And oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.
Hey everybody, we're back. This is Goose Scott with On With The Show, here to talk to you about some movies, some TV. We're going to talk mostly about movies, some movies this week I've seen, and hopefully some local theater news. But there are two things I have got to get. I got to get on my soapbox and I got to talk, because we had some news come on the last couple of days that I got to talk about. People have been asking me my opinion about it, and here's where it goes. So just yesterday, I'm scrolling through the news, and I noticed that ABC has signed on for The Conners. Now, The Conners, The Conners. This is basically Roseanne without Roseanne. Okay, so
that kind of doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but
well, everything will somehow work out.
So it'll always work out. See, here's what they come to a conclusion. The conclusion was that they wanted to continue with the show, but they couldn't really bring Roseanne back. So they came up with an idea. Hey, let's do The Conners, and we'll figure out a way to do the show without Roseanne. Now, I'm interested to see how this works out, because honestly, Roseanne Barr was the catalyst for the show. She's the one that made the thing made the thing run, and it was her conflicts with everybody that basically was the show, and her sarcasm and everything that worked. So I'm kind of interested to see how it works. Now, this is not unprecedented. This has been done before. Back in the 70s, there was a show called Good Times about an all African-American family living in the projects in Chicago. John Amos was the actor who played the father, and he basically had a conflict with the show's executive producer, Norman Lear. And come toward the end, I think it was the third season, they had written him off. They basically killed him off, and they ran the rest of the show without him. It was still called Good Times, and it was still, but the dynamic of the father-mother family relationship wasn't there anymore. The show kind of jumped the shark from there, and we really weren't able to. It really wasn't able to recover all that much, even when they brought in a little cute Janet Jackson to try to help bring in new viewers. It also happened in the 80s with Valerie Harper had her own show. It ran for a year. Again, she had a conflict, I think, with either the studio or the producers. They kicked her out. They brought in Sandy Duncan. They renamed it The Hogans, and it ran for about another 4 seasons. And it was actually not a bad thing, because out of that show we got Jason Bateman, so it worked out really well. The show was a moderate hit, and it gave Sandy Duncan new life. But and of course we've seen what happened with Charlie Sheen in 2.5 Men. Stars have conflicts. They kill them off. Things happen, but the dynamic of the show just isn't quite there. Once that star's gone, I don't know how this will work out, but one of the things I could honestly tell you is I don't know if they'll actually, because they're trying to come up with a solution of, did Roseanne leave? Did she die? Most likely they'll probably figure out a way of killing her off, because they probably don't want to risk the chance of bringing her back in and her saying, "See, you couldn't run this ship without me."
That's kind of like saying, how do I describe this? Okay, like someone being a character leaving and coming back in some kind of fashion.
And that's not too unprecedented either. That's happened quite often too. Yeah. But I don't know how this is going to work. But I'm interested to seeing how it does. I'm interested to seeing how the writers and everybody works. And the interesting thing is that they basically have told Roseanne that she has no creative control over this and no financial control over this, and which is which is kind of interesting, because she pretty much when she put this together back in I think the 90s, the 80s, 90s, these are all her characters. So we'll see how it works out. But it's going to be an interesting. It'll be an interesting ride. But segueing, or like we'd like to say at Mount St. Mary's, piggybacking on that, because it was Roseanne's tweet that got her in trouble with ABC. Piggybacking on that, we had an interesting little incident this week with Peter Fonda and his Twitter account. This guy, have you heard this?
Yeah, I've heard.
I mean, this guy, I don't know what is wrong with him. But for the guy to come out and say that Barron Trump should be ripped from his mother's arms and thrown in a cage and locked with pedophiles, that's just vile.
And wrong.
Wrong. That's just vile
Very
and
wrong.
wrong. That's wrong in 10 different ways, okay?
Actually, that's wrong in 1,000 ways.
1,000 ways. But what I find interesting is that you know, if he had said that, and there was a comment made on the Inga Bark show yesterday, that if he had said that about the Obama daughters, he'd be in prison. They would have carted his butt off to jail. I applaud Melania Trump for calling the Secret Service because, hey, let's be honest. I mean, this is a threat against the first family. All right, but I think what galls me even enough is that let's compare this to Roseanne's tweet. You know, yes, Roseanne tweeted something out, and it was bad, and it was, you know. She at least came back the next day and apologized for it. Says, you know, I was under an Ambien high and didn't know what I was doing. Well, has Peter Fonda apologized for any of this? Has he come out and say, I was in a drunken stupor and I didn't realize what I was saying? No, I haven't heard anything. In fact,
I haven't heard anything either.
And I don't like to get political on my show because, let's be honest, we have a lot of shows. We talk enough about politics on this show, but I'm going to get on my soapbox here and basically say something that this was hate speech. What he tweeted out was hate speech. And I know there are a lot of people who are saying, well, it's the First Amendment, it's free speech. No, this was hate speech. You can't say that what Roseanne did and said was hate speech and it was vile and she should be fired. And yet, here's Peter Fonda saying this, and it's free speech. I'm sorry, people. You cannot have it both ways. That is hypocrisy. That is hypocrisy. And not only that, what's even worse is that because of this hypocrisy, we don't take you people on the left very seriously. We really don't. If you're going to say stuff like this, back it up. The dude deleted his tweet. Because, oh my gosh, if it was that bad, then where's his apology? And where's the people with the outcry of, oh my gosh, this was horrible. He attacked a 12-year-old kid and said he should be locked with pedophiles. That is just wrong. And let me make one more point. Peter Fonda, you are not even close to the celebrity or significance as your father once was and still is, or even what your sister once was, and in some cases is. What did you want, Tyler?
Okay, Peter, there is a border between hate speech and normal speech.
Normal speech.
And if you cross the border of the hate the speech thing, it's kind of wrong. Yes, there is freedom of speech, but you have to understand that there's a border between right and wrong. And if you do the wrong thing, it'll get you in deep trouble.
It's gotten, and I don't hear a whole lot of people. The outcries really are there, and I think that's sad and it's disappointing. But it just shows that because it's Donald Trump, then they're gonna just. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. All right. We are coming up on a break, but let me talk to. I want to get to you because I want to talk about the new movie that just opened this weekend. Is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and this is I previewed this show. I talked about this movie a couple of weeks ago on my summer blockbuster show, and. People have been waiting for a while for this movie to come out. It looks, there's a huge following among the Jurassic people, about Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, and this movie does not disappoint. This movie does not disappoint. If there is a movie that I can honestly say fits the criteria of a summer blockbuster, this is it. Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard and Jeff Goldblum and they just shine in this film. And what's even better is that the dinosaurs themselves really shine in this film. It moves from beginning to end, and it really puts in perspective some certain aspects of what goes on in our society today. The very simple plot is the fact that the place where Jurassic World is being threatened by a volcano. Hey, guess what? That's not going on right now in Hawaii, but it's being threatened by a volcano. They want to get some of the species off, and they think that they'll be saving them. But what ends up, and I will give this part of the plot away. What ends up happening is actually more or less about animal poaching. This is clever. This is smart, and it's and again, when your executive producer is Steven Spielberg. This is why he is one of the best directors of all time. He knows what he's doing, and it really puts in another notch in his classics belt with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Everybody is believable. This movie, the plot really flows, and there's even a lot of questioning of whether or not, if dinosaurs were allowed to live today, would they be considered an endangered species? Would they be protected under the Endangered Species Act? And would we be able to even contain them? Or would they end up becoming wild and end up coming into your neighborhood? Let me ask you, Tyler, wouldn't it be crazy if you opened up your window and you saw a T-Rex outside your window? Or a
to be honest, I would panic. Just like, no, not scream. Just like, oh my goodness.
Just panic. I mean, this movie does not disappoint. It's well worth the money. I think that you should, take your kids to go see it. It is a little scary, so I think for littler kids, you probably want to avoid that. But I think anything for like upper grade schoolers, I think they would really enjoy this film. It is a tense ride, and it really works. I love this film. I give it a grade A, and I really, really recommend you go see it this weekend. It will not disappoint. All right, we are at break. So what I'm going to do is when I come back, I got 3 other movies on the docket that I saw this week. One that I've been promising to see for the last couple of weeks. That was rather disappointing. We'll get you right on the other side of this. Again, my name is Goose Scott with On With The Show here at the beautiful Bakersfield Music Hall of Fame and Kerncast.com. Brought to you by Patriot Bail Bonds. If you're in jail, call Patriot Bail. Be right back after this.
I choose Patriot Bail Bonds.
We choose Patriot Bail Bonds.
We choose Patriot Bail Bonds.
If the best criminal attorneys choose Patriot Bail Bonds, who would you choose?
Patriot Bail Bonds. We fight for your freedom.
Patriot Bail Bonds has the best customer service in Bakersfield. Patriot has more 5-star ratings than any bail company in Kern County. Plus, we're fast and affordable. If you run into the law, make Patriot Bail Bonds your first call. That's right, one call, that's all.
If you're in jail, call Patriot Bail.
Your home is perfect. Until it's not. We understand that life has its changes. As your family grows, we're here to help grow with you. Because taking care of your family is important to you and important to us. Your story starts here with Cornerstone Mortgage.
At the time you were arrested, you were served with a DS-367 temporary driver's license. It's good for 30 days, but if you don't act within 10 days, at the end of those 30 days, your license will be suspended. It's important for your lawyer to contact the DMV for you. Set up a driver's license administrative hearing so that your license does not go into suspension. That's something here at Braemar Law we do for you.
And we're back. I hope you enjoyed those beautiful, beautiful advertisers that we love having on our show. We appreciate them paying the bills and keeping the lights on.
Yeah.
Again, my name.
and a couple of days ago, where we didn't have internet.
Yeah. So again, my name is Goose Scott. I'm here on with the show with my wonderful producer, the ever colorful Tyler. Say hi, Tyler.
Hello.
Hello. So anyway, when we left, I just finished talking about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Good movie. Go see it. Does not disappoint. The other movie though, this movie's been out for a couple of weeks. It's called Hereditary, and this was a movie that I a couple of weeks ago, again about 2 or 3 weeks ago, on my summer blockbuster show. The trailers for this made it look really good.
Yeah, to be completely honest, I discovered this trailer through YouTube ad, and to be honest, I was freaked out.
Yeah, it was freaky. It's a freaky trailer. It really freaks you out. And I just figured I had to go see it. I wanted because I wanted to see something really good and scary. And I was really disappointed. There are two things. Well, I mean, let me. Actually, there are three. There are three things really wrong with this film. First of all, it's over 2 hours, just over 2 hours long, which is not bad. It's not bad for most movies. Most movies are anywhere from 90 to 120 minutes. The interesting part about this, though, is the fact that you could have easily taken 20 minutes, 30 minutes out of this film, and it would have given you a lot more tension. The tempo of this film, it goes everywhere. It goes up, it goes down, and there are times where you're really into it, and then it just slows down to a crawl.
Kind of like dry molasses.
Yeah, and it is just. I've seen snails racing faster than this film at certain points. It was just, and it was really disappointing because it looked like when I was watching the first 20 minutes of it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really good. But again, there are certain things about, and then all of a sudden, if we get to the end of Act 1, and it just slows to a crawl and brings in all of this other stuff that brings no tension to the story whatsoever. And all of a sudden, it's not until about halfway into the film that it starts to pick up again, and then the tempo of this movie is all over the place. You can never really get seated and feel like you're watching a real taut, scary thriller, a horror film. And plus, and another couple of things was there are a couple of things in the writing that made no sense. One of the characters has a nut allergy. Now everybody out there who has a nut allergy, you have an EpiPen within arm's length, in a bag, in a pocket, in something, right?
Yeah.
In one scene, the daughter, I guess, who's allergic to nuts, is eating a piece of chocolate, and they say, "Does that have nuts in it? Because we don't have the EpiPen." How do you not have an EpiPen? Okay, I'm sorry. That is just that makes no sense. Anybody who has a child with a food allergy who could easily die from it has that EpiPen near. That's just one. And you may think, well, Goose, that's just one little detail. That's one little detail that ends up becoming a big detail later. I
don't mean to interrupt, but that's kind of like running your car with no coolant, oil, or anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's the little things that make the big things later on. Now, trust me, there are some things in there, some great symbolism, some things that you see in the beginning that ends up paying off in the end. That's great, but it is just nothing. I mean, I expected to really be scared, and aside from a few jump scares and a few gross out deaths, there were times where I was bored with this. And the one thing you do not want in any film is for a certain person to be bored.
Yeah, like...
No. I mean, I hate to trash this film. I mean, it stars two great actors, Toni Collette and Gabriel Byrne, and it's like, and there were times even with those actors, it felt like the acting was over the top in certain spots, and I couldn't get. I mean, it was almost, I don't want to say laughable, but it was uncomfortable to watch. Now, here's the interesting thing that. The person that directed it also wrote it. So and here's the thing: when you have a writer director doing the movie, the good part is that you can watch the writer's vision come to life on the screen, because a lot of times the director will take a script and totally change it to where it's nothing like the original script.
Like books to movie.
Books to movie, yeah. It's nothing like the. But when a writer also directs it, you get to see their vision of how they wanted to see it. There's also one other problem with that, and that is that when the person directs what they write, you kind of get their vision, and sometimes their vision really just doesn't gel into a cohesive film. I really got a feeling that what I was watching of Hereditary was I was watching like either a rough cut or a first cut, or maybe even something that it didn't seem like it had been edited tight enough to make me want to jump and shout and scream, and that's pretty sad. So I don't know how much of this film I can recommend, but if you want, let me put it like this. I wouldn't go see it at the theater. I'd wait till it gets at the Red Box. That's my opinion. All right.
Yeah, like from what you're talking about, I actually don't want to see it.
I mean, trust me, there's some great deaths in the. I mean, they're pretty horrid. Some great crazy stuff. But it's like, it just did not really engage me into the film. I mean, like I said, you could have cut 20-30 minutes out of this film and it would have been a much better film in my opinion. All right, moving right along. Moving right along. I had a chance the other day. I was looking through my TV channels, and I came across a movie that I had wanted to see a couple of years ago, and I didn't have a chance to see it because, again, I get busy, and I just don't ever get a chance to get to the movie theater. And I even missed it when my family got it at Redbox, and that's the Peanuts film. Charlie Brown and Snoopy. Peanuts. Not something else. Peanuts. Yeah. Charlie Brown and Snoopy. Okay, so I want to clarify.
Kind of like the comic strip.
The comic strip, exactly. And I really like this film. Now, I grew up watching Charlie Brown and Snoopy and Lucy and Linus and Sally and Pepper and Patty and Marcy and all of them. I grew up watching all of them. Every holiday we see the Great Pumpkin, and we see the Thanksgiving, and we see the Christmas Charlie Brown. And it's like, you're almost like, oh my gosh, I get to see. And what makes this interesting is that we get to see the animation in this is really clean. It's really clean, and it really, really brings a new generation into this world. And the plot's very, very simple, because one of the things that we have grown up in with Charlie Brown is that he has a huge crush on the little redheaded girl. We finally get to see how that started and how that developed and where that went to. And what's interesting is, not at any, and, the little redheaded girl is even in his class, and yet he never refers to her as by her name. Whatever her name is, we have no idea, because she's always the little redheaded girl, and she's adorable. And the great part about this is the fact that Charlie Brown is our lovable loser who everybody knows, and and everybody's like, oh my gosh, here's trouble. It's like, here comes trouble. It's like, and as much as you love them, it's like being around them is like, it brings everything else down in perspective, in the dumps. But this movie really, really shines. This is a great film for little kids, a great family film. It's about an hour and a half. So you can watch it really quick in an afternoon or in a morning, and then you'll be able to go off to your day. Or, like my kids used to do, you can watch it again and again and again and again and again, and you almost never get, you can almost do it by heart. The other great part about this is the B story to that is, of course, we get to see the Snoopy and the Red Baron thing, and that's always been one of those storylines that has run the gamut, from the world. And the Red Baron is from World War I, to take you that far back.
Wow.
But we get to see how that developed and the storyline for that, and it's a really cute film. It's really lovely. Again, the animation really pops. It's done by the same studio that's done the Despicable Me and the Ice Age movies. It's and it's really good. I'm really hoping that they bring out another film pretty soon. The sons of Charles M. Schulz put it together, and I'm really looking forward to seeing. And here's the interesting thing. Here's the interesting part that I want to bring up, because one of the things I noticed in this film is that Linus is Lucy's younger brother. Now Lucy and Charlie Brown and Linus are all in the same class. In the same class, which proves to me one of the things I'd always thought of, which is Linus is a genius. He is smarter than everybody else his own age, and he relates more to the older kids, which is why he is Charlie Brown's best friend. Despite that blanket he drags everywhere. And it also proves to me that both Lucy and Linus are very, very smart. Lucy has her little psychiatry, little stand, and she gives advice out for 5 cents a piece. And it just proves to me that they are very smart, despite the little idiosyncrasies that they have. And it's a good film. I recommend, if you have a chance to see it, whether it's on DirecTV or you go to the Red Box, find it, get it, Dish. Watch it, Dish. Yeah, it's well worth the time to do so. All right, finally, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna share one of my favorite jokes from the Great Pumpkin. Okay. I got a chocolate bar. I got a lollipop. I got a Tootsie Roll. I got a rock.
I got a rock.
I like that.
Hey, Halloween's coming up in just a few months, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
All right. Before the last film I got a chance to see, and again, this is the same thing. Again, there are times I'm flipping through the premium channels, and HBO, Showtime, and Cinemax, and all that. I'll come across a film I have not seen in years. And this is one of them. It was called The Good Son. And what's interesting, this movie is about 25, 30 years old. You know why? Because both Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin were in the film when they were little kids. That tells you how old the film is. But I will tell you, again, this movie is 90 minutes long. And this movie is well done. Macaulay Culkin plays this sociopath 10-year-old who would love nothing more than to get everybody else out of the way to have his mother's affection, including kill. And and what's great is he's so manipulative that you can almost, you'll see it, that when this little brat grows up, he's going to be one of these guys that ends up, like Ted Bundy, smiles and then kills everybody. It is a great taut thriller. It is really well done. It's much better than the one I saw earlier in Hereditary. In fact, I compared the two films, and again, Hereditary is just over 2 hours, and The Good Son is 90 minutes, which means someone did their editing just enough so where it kept the action and the move and the tempo flowing in The Good Son. And so if you have a chance, and I'm running a little over on my show today, so if you have a chance to catch that movie. Pull it out. I mean, you may have seen it when you were a kid, and if your kids haven't seen it, I would suggest that you get a chance for them to see the film, and you might bring back, because first of all, everybody knows Elijah Wood is one of the best actors, especially in the indie scene there is today. And so I think it's interesting to see him in one of his very first films. I think it would be absolutely fantastic. Now, before we go, let me see if I can pull up some theater stuff that's going on, as I can quickly run through, because I didn't prepare for this. I was running a little late today. But according to Bakersfield Talent, as I'm waiting it for load to load. Yes, everybody out there, you're all staring at me, wondering what's going to happen. Man. I will tell you this: one of my good friends is in the production of 1776, and I'm looking forward to seeing that film. That is hopefully coming up pretty soon. Yeah. I feel like
my dad is experiencing the white circle of infinity.
Yes, I am.
That's why I'm getting the loading sign on Android phones. Because every time I try to watch YouTube, it's like loading. The
white circle of hell.
Loading.
Well, I will get back to you. I will get back to you on that. Apparently, I cannot get my computer. Cannot get my phone to computer to work to cooperate. So I really, really greatly apologize. I don't have any theater news I can give you for today. Hopefully, I'll have something I can put up for next week. But other than that, I look forward to seeing you all next week. With the show again. My name is Goose Scott. I'm here from the beautiful Bakersfield Music Hall of Fame with KernCast.com, brought to you by Patriot Bail Bonds. If you're in jail, call Patriot Bail. And we will see you next week. I will talk to you more about some movies, some TV, hopefully get this thing for the theater thing to work out. All right, go catch a show.
All the curtain lights. This is it. The night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing a part. We know every card by heart.